Fury popping off. We're in the parking garage. He's in Jersey. He's like, oh, yeah, what am I going to see? The first person we walk into the elevator, it's Screwy Louie Lazari. Everybody knows Screwy Louie. And she's popping off, and he's like, who is this? I go, he's a little version of you, Lou. Well, trust me. And she was just, she had a blast in New Jersey. She fit in really well. And brought home 2 national titles from New Way.
Ricky G, baby! We got a special show for you tonight. We've got Coach Kurt Montanye and Coach Jamie Harrison from the RPA Headhunters. There was a team that was put together for the AAU Scholastic National Duels, which is also known as the Disney Duels, which was not in Disney for the first time this year. But we're going to talk about that team. So what I want to do real quick, I'm just going to go down the line and name all the girls that were on the team. At 100 pounds, you had Sayuri Caceres. She's from Lincoln High School. Fallon Dames, she a Middleburg girl?
Yeah, she's an 8th grader this year.
Wow. 104, Julia Bricado. Her dad's a real nice guy. I talked to him at the state tournament. Emma Balknight, hammer from Hernando. Kaylee Miller, 120. Where's Kaylee from?
Cleveland, Tennessee.
She was a pickup for you guys.
Yeah, I had her on our team the previous year. And again, she's a 8th grader as well. So tough kid.
Man, the future is bright for girls wrestling. Another middle schooler. This girl is just a friggin' beast. Ariana Ruiz from Matter Lakes. That girl is something special. Sydney Bridenstine, 125. Kylie Hopkins, 125. Where's Kylie from?
Baker County, North Florida area.
Up north, yep. Kaylani Barrientos, Oakleaf.
That is correct.
She was at 130. Haley Briggs, Lemon Bay. She's a stud, 135. Claire O'Donnell, 140. Where's Claire from?
Canterbury High School.
Canterbury. Then we got Pat Stewart, 145. Morris Ecazareta
from South Dade.
Tough. That's all you need to say, South Dade.
She's a youngin'. She's a sophomore now. She's another young guy.
Okay. Chloe Stinnett at 170. Where's Chloe from? Casaria Wilson from Lincoln Park Academy?
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And then your girl, Kania Moore. Where's she at?
Boca Ciega.
Yeah, Boca Ciega. And that's where you're at right now, right? And then, of course, we can't forget, she would have been on the team if she didn't, have an injury and surgery. Cheyenne Cruz at 190, state champ, undefeated state champ. The future is bright for girls wrestling. How'd the girls get along on this team? Did they all click?
Oh, yeah. It was amazing.
Really?
Amazing. We actually had put a team together for Spartan as well. So a lot of them had wrestled together at Spartan, and we're already familiar with each other. And probably 80% of them also train together, on the national dual team or getting ready for Fargo or whatever may have you. So
okay,
they were all pretty familiar with each other anyway.
Yeah.
Were you the only 2 coaches for that team?
No, we couldn't do this. So
we
I'll tell you this: Tim Dames, what an amazing coach. He was a comfortable bounce. Jamie and I have a great relationship together. A lot of ball busting, a lot of pranks. We have a lot of fun coaching together, but Tim was that comfortable balance between us. And, there'd be times I'm ready to storm up the mat and, Tim's like, Timmy's got it under control. And we're going to go into the shift in the lineup, which really made our day on the finals. That evil genius, Jamie Harrison. We'll talk about that later, but yeah, it was incredible what he did with that lineup.
How many duels did you guys get?
What was it? 11? I think.
Yeah. And you guys did win the national championship, right? 11-0?
Yep.
Crazy, man. Who was your toughest duel?
The Missouri team in the final. Missouri team in the final. Yeah, it came down to the last match. That last match in the duel, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
So Kania, when we or you can go ahead. That's your drill.
Well, Jamie, no, I want you to tell it, but I want you to tell it how you juggled the whole thing and how you made that whole switch. and made things work for those last couple matches.
Right. The first time we wrestled them in our pool, we probably had 3 or 4 upsets in matches we should not have won, and came through. We're down by 2 or 3 in the third and stuck the girl. We won that duel in the pool, and we probably should not have. I knew going into the final that it wasn't going to go down like that again. Most likely, we were probably going to lose 1 or 2 of those matches, and for sure it happened. Right. So where we had pinned, we got pinned. It came down to having to sit some girls that were very tough, bouncing the lineup around, like bumping Ailey up, bumping Kiki up,
And then
sitting. So what was it at 55? Right.
Yeah.
So we had lost at 55 and 70. Here, hold on. I'm pulling it up so I can be a little more accurate.
Yeah, take your time. At 70, you had Chloe Stinnett, right? And 55
Right.
was Eka Zareda?
Yeah.
That's correct.
When he told me he's forfeiting, bumping, and I stood there with my mouth open. I'm like, oh, what? And he's like, trust me. I'm like, okay, I got you, brother. I trust you.
Let's give him a hand for that.
Okay, so that's what I did. So we forfeited at 40, and then I bumped our 40 up to 45 because at 55 we got beat, and Cat won by decision at 45, and then we got pinned at 55. So and this is no knock on Amaris at all. She's just younger, first year wrestler. It was like a fine line of what I had to do. We ended up forfeiting at 40, even though we had plenty of backups, bumping up Claire to 45 with just the hopes that she could keep it to a decision, and she did. She ended up losing 9-4, and then bumped Kat up, who ended up getting the pin, which was a game changer because that's where we had given up a pin in the first duel against those guys. So it changed the tide completely. And then going into the final match, we were down by 2 points, back with Kenia Wrestling, the NHSCA national champ.
Oh, wow.
So in the first duel,
she had pinned her on day 1.
Right. So Kenia caught her in like 30 seconds in day 1 and stuck her. And also that was the deciding factor in the first duel. So I was completely nervous. We were up, and the final score was 34-33. If Kenia got majored, we would have lost on tiebreaker. He lost 8-1.
She did her job, man.
Right. So we end up winning the duel.
She had an injury time.
Right. Yeah.
And I looked her in the face. I said, if you lose, just by decision, you don't have to win. If you lose by decision, we win. And if you get major, attacked, or pinned, it's either we lose. So I don't have to win. I'm like, no. All you got to do, he's like, I got it.
Right. But then it came down to like she was about to get stalled out, DQ'd. There's all kinds of stuff going down in that match. We were losing our minds. We're like, all you got to do is just wrestle for 30 more seconds.
Oh, my God.
Just move. Stay off your back. Come on.
Let me ask you this. So as regular high school coaches, I feel it's probably a little bit easier to get your team to understand the importance of bonus points because they're a team and you work with them every day. But when you get a group of kids put together for Disney duels, it may be a little bit more challenging to get them to buy into the concept that you got to go score bonus points because you want to win, but we need that as a team. We're here to win this damn thing. So what was the challenge? If there was a challenge, was there a challenge getting these girls to understand the importance of bonus points, or was that something you even spoke about?
We definitely talked about it. I think most of our lineup was pretty versed in the duel aspect, and that's a challenge with the girls because there's not girls duel tournaments at all. The only one last year was Elite 8, which we were a part of.
Yeah.
But besides that, it doesn't happen. There's just not enough teams, right? You got maybe 20, 25 teams with 10 plus girls in different weights. So it's not a in-season thing. So unless these girls are competing year round, they're totally out of tune what the actual meaning is of the bonus points, or why you're bumping around, or what you're doing this and that for. Even the parents, they were all looking at me like I had 5 eyes.
Yeah.
It was insane.
And then
But,
on top of that, you know, a lot of your girls are really, really young. So that's a whole nother friggin' challenge.
oh yeah.
Kurt, I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you both because you're both high school coaches, but Kurt, I want you to answer first. What is the difference between coaching the boys as opposed to coaching the girls? What's the difference? What challenges do you have with the girls that you may not necessarily have with the boys, or challenges with the boys that you may not necessarily have with the girls?
I always go by the Trident rule. Girls, they come into the room, they leave their egos at the door. They want to be better than the boys. They want to be better than their teammates. 2, girls have fully functional brains. Okay, boys are dumb. 3, girl tips. I can teach a throw, Jamie will back me up. We can teach a throw to a girl in 1 second. That'll take a boy 3 seconds. Okay, no insult to the boys. Girls are hungry. They want to learn. They want to be better. They want to achieve more, and they put the time in. And it's not that the boys don't. I mean, you got guys like, Sawyer, Bartell. That kid's been putting his time in from day one. You got
Of course.
the Mills family. You got some great male wrestlers coming out of Florida. Brendan Abdon's who was phenomenal in college. But we got some really great wrestlers coming out. I thoroughly enjoy coaching the girls because they're sponges. And Jamie, back me up. They're a lot of fun on trip.
Oh, yeah.
We bring them out to tournaments.
Yep.
I mean, we have a blast.
Tell me about that. Specifically this team. Now, did you guys stay in a Airbnb? Did you have separate hotel rooms? Like, how'd that work out?
I had some phenomenal parents help me out. I stayed at the house with most of the girls. Jason and Veronica Rapato and Karen and Joe Stewart. Jason and Veronica stayed in the house with us. They were team mom and dad, while I was team chef, cooking for all the kids. Then Karen and Joe Stewart were constantly checking in and out. We also had Greg Faulkner and John Bridenstine who were coming in, checking on the kids. So we had some great parents helping us out. But the house, it was a lot of fun. I'm getting my paperwork down from some of the, I literally walk in the door, look for the kids, and I'm going over to plans for the next day. But they're a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some characters in the house. We had the Chihuahua, Fury Paris. She's crazy. She's a nut job. She's so much fun. We had Ailey Briggs in the house. He was basically her and Sydney were like unofficial team. They watched out for the girls. They did prayer every morning. We had prayer right before we headed over to the arena. We had prayer at the arena. We had a great bunch of girls with a lot of soul.
Whose idea was it to have prayer sessions?
Actually, it was a lot of the girls. Emma Faulkner, Ailey, Sydney Bridenstine. Then all the girls, everyone was like, and Tania is a very, a base person. So a lot of the girls, it all fell into place. By day 3, they were all wearing Jewish shirts. So
wow.
It was a great bunch of girls. I couldn't ask for a better bunch. I mean, this is a brainstorm between Jamie and I where we started with a base. We're like, okay, we've got Tucker and we've got Ailey. Let's start building from that point. And I had, Tania and Sydney from the year before. And then Sydney said, if I'm going to wrestle for you my senior year, I have to bring Emma and Julia with me. And then they brought Chloe with her. So the 4 of them, the Fernando group, they came over with that. And then we just started building it around that. I mean, you can't really argue with that kind of bait. Amy just applied his entire RPA team. I mean, anywhere we had an open spot, Amy's like, so we, he's an evil genius.
Jamie, I know that Henry Geller helps out as much as he can. And it's a funny story. When I first moved to Florida in 1981, Henry was my very first coach.
Yep. So I have a picture of you with Henry.
Really?
Oh yeah. You were maybe like 8, 10 years old somewhere.
I'd love to see that.
Man, I wonder if.
Oh man, I got to see that picture. Holy cow! Yeah. So it's funny because my senior year, I wound up going to Lincoln High School in Tallahassee. I moved from Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas to Tallahassee, and I lived with Mort Geller, who is no longer with us. That's his dad. He was one of the greatest officials in the world. Where'd you get a picture of me and Henry?
So he brought it into the gym, and I had it posted up in the gym when he started with me. So it was up there for 2 years. I'm going to find it, and I'll send you a copy.
Please, yeah, take a picture of it.
So it's Henry throwing somebody, and you're just sitting there with the other guys in the first row. I think your head was wrapped up, so maybe you had a cut or ringworm or
Probably
something.
that sounds. I either had cuts over my eyes or my
Right,
nose was broken.
right. But you probably are like sixth, seventh grade, maybe. It seemed like.
That's exactly. I was in 7th or 8th grade because that's when I
Right,
moved here. So you're exactly
right.
right.
So,
Wow.
so Henry's such a great guy. It's a funny story. Like, I started with the girl thing, and at one point I had a ton of boys too. I actually had to shut it down because I had 50 kids in this room, and it was way too much. But so Henry called me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, I moved to the area. I used to wrestle. I had a heart attack, and I moved in with my brother, and I'm bored. I heard you guys do freestyle pretty much year round. Yeah. You mind if I come help?" I'm
Did
like,
you know
sure.
who he was at the time?
No clue. No clue.
And then when you
Right.
look at him, you're like, oh my God. And then you
Right.
look, Google him.
Right, that's what happened. So he comes in. I'm like, well, you got to get go to the AU website and get your background check, get your coach's card, and
Yeah.
So ever since he's walked in that door, I think he's missed maybe 10 practices in 3 years. He's never misses a practice, and every tournament I go to, for the most part, and again, I can count on one hand the times he hasn't come. He's always with me. So I probably spent 1,000 hours in the car with Henry.
I love him. I
No,
really,
he's such an
truly
awesome guy.
love the man.
Yep.
He was, for those people that don't know Coach Geller, Henry was world class. I believe he's on a world team or was an
He was.
alternate
I
world team,
think
right?
he placed like eighth or something at the Worlds in Iran. Sure,
Yeah.
sure. You Google it. Yep.
He was something special, man. At like
Yep.
what, 105.5 pounds back then? And what was the weight
Yeah, it was
class?
like 105, 110. And I think he was on the world team the year before Gable won the Olympics.
Yeah, he's been
So,
around a long time,
yep.
and he was just absolutely a beast, man, a
Right.
beast.
Yep.
And he taught me so much freestyle. So my
Yep.
question was did he get to help out with this team or not really?
So we had two teams, right? And we did a developmental team with all my younger girls for the most part on that. And he pretty much ran that.
Okay,
So
okay,
he took care of the younger girls where they're super comfortable with them. They all love Henry. Like Henry is their favorite person in the entire
yeah.
world. So,
He's the best, man. He really
yep.
is. If you guys don't know, the people that are listening, if you don't know Henry, next time you're at a tournament, go introduce yourself. It'll be worth it. You'll thank me. I promise you. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and just talk to him about wrestling. You'll talk all day long.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. So let me
Such a
ask you
great.
guys, would you go as far as to say this was the best dual team that you've put together in a while? Either one of you.
Me
Yeah.
personally, yes. Yeah.
It's the best one that I've done in quite a while. When COVID happened, me and Steve Hall put together a team and went to a tournament up in Georgia. It was pretty tough. It was a pretty
Bugs
much
Dad?
quarter. Do I know?
Bugs Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we pretty much had 70% of the Florida national team in our lineup, and it was pretty solid. But I would say yes. Probably from top to bottom, 100%. Right. Most of the girls' duels are K through 12, so it's a little different, right?
Yeah.
Like that K through 12 team on there. I had Emma Bacon at like 80 pounds. Who's ranked first or second in the
Yeah,
country, and a
she's a
couple
beast.
other. Claire was on that team. Hannah, Jada, Andrea Smith, Madison Blackburn. I'm just loaded. I think I had.
Murderer's Row, man.
Right. It was awesome. Awesome. High school wise, from top to bottom, we were so solid at AAU national duels. I mean, we were super solid. That's a tough team, man.
Now,
I would say we could have brought that team to national duels and probably placed in the top 8 to 10 there as well. I mean,
okay.
That was
we
the
were
next
that
thing I
good.
wanted to, like, those girls, that the national duels were the same weekend, right, Jamie? The same weekend as AU national duels. So the freestyle USA national
Right.
duels.
So
A lot of those
we had
girls, they,
lost three girls.
yeah, we lost Nina Borgman, we lost Abigail Gonzalez, and who was
Right.
the third? There
Oh
was
crap.
one more, but
Shit, I don't remember.
Those are three major girls to lose.
Right. I mean, we lost 3 hammers
Oh, yeah.
to the national dual team, which without a doubt, that's where they needed to be. But our lineup was even more solid than what it was, to be honest with you.
Nina and Mariah Mills, they're in Bahrain right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
For that AAU, whatever it's called, the World Championships. But anyway.
Ailey's there too.
Oh, Ailey, yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So let me ask you guys this. You putting together another team for next year?
I think so, long as Kurt's cool with it.
Well, here's the deal. We won it, and it was
You got to shave that damn beard.
Shut up. The day we won it was Jamie's birthday. Okay, so we won the final. We get the trophy, and I'm like, you know what? It's his birthday. You get the trophy this year. We're going to put together another team. I get the trophy next year. Because we plan on repeating next year.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, let me ask you this, a little off the topic. Where did you wrestle in high school? And then if you wrestled in college, where'd you wrestle in college?
So, yeah, I grew up in New England, and I wrestled in Southern Maine.
Okay.
And then also at the University of Southern Maine. So my club coach was also the University of Southern Maine head coach, and he had coached me from when I was a little kid all the way up through college. And great guy. I think there's like 6 or 7 head coaches in college right now that came from underneath him, whether it was in high school or in college as well. So I was a pretty lucky guy. I was able to have the same coaching staff from when I was 6th, 7th grade all the way through sophomore year in college.
Yeah.
And then,
Kurt, I know you're from Jersey. Where not Plainfield. Where it starts with a P.
Fairlawn.
Oh, Fairlawn. That's right, Fairlawn.
Yep.
And that's where Mike Kostis is from, right?
No, he's from Phillipsburg. Joe Mocco is from Fairlawn.
Okay, so Phillipsburg, was that like your rival?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Mike the Machine.
They were number 1 and we were number 3. Oh yeah.
Have you seen Kostis?
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
We spoke right before the hurricanes.
Okay. Yeah. I know he was taking care of Ken's house over there.
Yes.
So I guess he's doing okay. And you wrestled, did you go to college or you just went international after that?
I went to Montclair State University, and then I had the opportunity. My coach was very involved in the New York Athletic Club, Ted Levine, so he would bring us over there from time to time. And then I also had Coach Momir at Montclair State. He's part of the world team.
I love Momir. I met Momir at the OTC through Casey Thompson. I got to meet him. What an awesome dude, man.
Yeah.
What's Momir's last name again?
Petrovic.
Petrovic. Yes. Super guy, man.
Yeah, he
now,
came in
you said
right
the name Levine.
Yeah, Ted Levine, yes.
Does he have a son that wrestled?
No, his nephew, his son wrestled in Clifton. His nephew wrestled at Hanover Park. And
my age?
His grand, Jeff
I wrestled
is my age. He graduated in 90 with me.
Okay. What's the one that would have been around 85, 86, 87?
Oh, no, that's no relation.
No? Okay. Because I wrestled the Levine from either New York or New Jersey when I was a kid, and we had wars. He was tough, man.
So where were you from in New York?
Upstate New York. Well, we say upstate, but it's only 60 miles north of New York City. It's Section 9, which is Monroe Woodbury. I'm like 15 minutes from Army, from West Point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right over the border of Suffolk County. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Dude, I used to wrestle in New Jersey every friggin' weekend, whether it was Garfield or friggin' Vineland. I got my ass beat by Bobby Malatesta. You remember Malatesta, right?
Yep, from St. Augustine Prep.
Exactly. Dude, that kid, well, first of all, he was high school. He was on that poster in 1985 for High School All-American. I'll never forget that. I was at a tournament in Bainbridge, New York, and that's upstate. Mm-hmm. And my very first match was against Bobby Malatesta from Vineland, New Jersey. I didn't know who he was. My dad knew who he was, and he's like, "Hey, this match might not go so good for you."
I know he went D1, but I think he went to Clemson or he went to one of the programs out and then it got dropped like a year later.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Let me. You know what? That's going to bother me now. I got to Google that real quick. Bobby Malatesta. That kid was the real deal, man.
Yeah. I remember when we were little kids. Him and Phil Mel Fury were wrestling right around the same time, and they're from the same
I
region.
remember Joe too.
Yeah, he wrestled at Iowa.
Okay, Bobby Malatesta, St. Augustine. Let's see. What did he do? Oh man, of course it doesn't show it now. I'm sure he went to a really good school.
Yeah, there were a lot of schools that in that 85, 86, 87 era were getting dropped. Division I programs just getting dropped left and right. And that, I think, because I know Jerry Durso went to Notre Dame, that program got dropped. Pete Gavagutis and those guys, they all went to Clemson, and that program got dropped. I was supposed to go to Syracuse, that program got dropped.
You know what? I was trying to go to Syracuse too in 86 because Gene Mills was the head coach there. So let me get back to the superstar team that you guys had at Disney Duels. If you could name two of the girls that you think were the leaders, who were they? Ailey and who was the other one? Kat?
Catherine or Sydney.
Oh, Catherine
right,
Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney.
Okay. And then if you can name one jokester, who was that? Who was the
Yuri.
clown? Oh, that was quick.
Yuri. 100%.
Yep.
And it's just her personality. She is just wired different.
Goofy.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
No, yeah, she's awesome.
Listen,
Yeah,
I tell people all the time, this is what I see. You guys can let me know if you agree. But in the 48, 49 years that I've been in the sport in some capacity, what I've realized is that the good wrestlers, the really good to the elite level wrestler, they're not all there. There's something off. You got to be a little off to be a good wrestler. You guys agree with that?
100%.
Absolutely.
You got to be a little bit on the edge somewhere, right? Like,
I wouldn't say you got to be a couple of fries short of a Happy Meal, but maybe.
No.
Yeah, I brought Yuri. I brought Yuri and one of my other girls, Layla, from Eastlake. I brought them to the Atlantic City to the New Way tournament. And Yuri's popping off. We're in the parking garage. He's in Jersey. He's like, oh, yeah, when am I going to see it? First person, we walk into the elevator, it's Screwy Louie Lazari. Everybody knows Screwy Louie.
Yeah.
And she's popping off, and he's like, who is this? I go, he's a really version of you, Lou. Well, trust me. And she had a blast in New Jersey. She fit in really well. And brought home 2 national titles from New Way.
All right, I'm going to ask you a funny question now. This might sound a little funny to you, but if you were in a street fight and there were 2 guys coming at you and you could pick one girl on that team to throw down with you, who are you picking to fight that fight with you?
Kania all day.
Kania could throw hands. Kania is a tough girl. But Few is a real close second.
Right.
Few is definitely a real close tough. Kania is a tough girl. She is great.
I thought you were going to say like an Emma Bach night because of the jiu-jitsu and stuff like that.
No.
I
wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't want Kania to hit me either.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Let me tell you, I'd have to work out with her. She ties up tight. She's got some power behind her. If he knew how strong and how tough she was, he would have won Fargo instead of placing 8.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. I mean, placing at Fargo is not an easy thing to do. It's almost impossible for the guys. I mean, you got to be at a whole different level. Is it that way for the girls or not quite yet?
It's there now.
It is.
Okay. I mean, you've got to be at that elite level for the most part, and you can't just do this. Come in and wrestle for 2 or 3 years and place Fargo.
Right.
It was like that, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Absolutely not anymore. You have that crop that's coming in to high school that's wrestled since they've been 7, 8 years old, and have the years and technique and great coaching behind them now. where it used to be they're just pushed off in the corner, and some had an older brother or dad that took them under their wing. Now it's definitely changing.
Yeah.
Definitely changing.
One thing that I was very curious about and that I wanted to talk to you about is, when you put a boys team together, it's a little bit easier for the parents to kind of let go, let them go by themselves. And I know you had some parents with you chaperoning, but how hard is it to convince a parent to give you their daughter and trust you enough that, they're not going to get hurt, you're going to take as good care of them as you possibly can, treat them like your own daughter. Like, is it more difficult with girls to get their parents to kind of let go, or is it not really?
No, I mean it's not too much different. I guess it started with, for me personally, the girl aspect started with Madison Blackburn. Her dad was my best friend. We both fought professionally together, training partners. So when she started wrestling, um, I started working out with her on the side. Then this whole girls thing happened. My daughters were doing it, so it was the easier thing because my kids were always there.
Okay.
It's a little different, it's more of like a family affair. And, Kurt goes and does the Airbnb, and I'm still like, I don't know about all this. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're crazy, man.
Yeah. So
My
what do? You
girls
just
need
throw a
my
bunch of,
girls need to
bunch
be
of girls?
fed. My girls need to be fed, and I trust myself and only myself to feed them good food.
Right.
Well,
But
I
no,
would trust you to be a chef.
it's also peace of mind knowing that when I wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I go out for my
Yeah.
walk, breakfast, and then I start knocking on the doors, and I know that they're going to be up. So I'm not leaving and somebody else in town. So if we're late to the arena, it's my fault. I have to answer the door because I wasn't at the arena at the time because I did not get the girls out of bed. And I didn't. And it's great having the typical family in that house with me. The like of being the woman in the house, being able to be that buffer where, Kate and I were like, get out of bed. And Veronica was like, girls, let's go. And then by the time she came around a second time and the voice came up a little bit, the girl was like, let's go. Let's not piss her off. So it was a lot easier that way. I was very blessed. My first girl was a girl named Sissy Black. Now she's Sissy Albert. We traveled the country together. And, it was just, she was my first girl. Didn't really know too much about coaching girls. She kind of educated me as we went. And then she ended up placing second in the Pan Am Games, placed in Fargo, multiple time national champ. And now I'm very blessed. In a week and a half, she'll be moving to St. Pete. So her and her
Oh,
husband are moving
really?
down
So
there.
she's coming
Yep.
from New Jersey to St. Pete?
Yep. Her husband's a
Are you
two-time
going to get
NCAA
her to
champ.
coach?
You better believe it. So her
Who's a
husband's a
two-time
two-time.
champ?
Her husband, Jay Alvis from Johnson and Wales. He was a two-time NCAA
Oh, yeah.
champ there.
25-pounder, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, he beat a kid from my alma mater in the finals, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was her husband.
Yep. Yeah. They'll be down
Wow.
here. He's in St. Pete right now, getting getting transferred. I don't know if he's going to Pinellas County Sheriff or he's going to one of the local police departments, but he's getting all his paperwork transferred down.
Is he
is going to
already
be
a
a
top?
Yeah. Yep.
What a
So,
small world. I love Lonnie Morris, the head coach
yeah,
over at
I was he was at he was at the wedding. I was hanging out with him at the wedding.
Dude. Let me
Lonnie's
tell
a
you.
great guy. So when I
Yeah.
started, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I met him back in 2007. He was recruiting my son. Actually,
Yep.
2 months. So a lot of people don't know this. Back when I was a single dad, I had 4 kids in my house, my daughter and my 3 sons, all wrestlers. But my oldest son, Nick, his best friend was this kid named Dwayne Jackson, who didn't start wrestling until his sophomore year at Palm Beach Central High School. And Dwayne wound up moving in with us. So I raised Dwayne from sophomore year, junior year, all the way to senior year. He lived with us. I treat him just like another son. He was with me for everything. So Lonnie was recruiting Dwayne. And then, we started talking about Nick as well. So that's the first time I met him. We went to, I don't know, Cracker Barrel in Jupiter because I think he has family in Jupiter. And that's when I met him. And he's the greatest guy in the world.
We were in the same conferences, and he recruited me out of high school too. Right, I guess that might have been his first year at Johnson and Wales in 99, 98, 99. But yep, great guy. Like
Super,
love
super
wanted.
guy. Yep.
Yep. Yep. When
So
did Jackson graduate? What year was that?
So Dwayne Jackson graduated 2007. My oldest son, graduated 2008. Then my middle son, Dylan, was a state finalist in 2012. He lost to Kevin Nordstrom in the finals from Brandon. And then Bryce was the state champ. He's the youngest.
So Jackson wrestled at Palm Beach Gardens. What was he like?
Palm Beach
45
Central. Palm Beach
or
Central.
Central? What weight was he?
Wait, I think he wrestled a Middleburg.
No, so I wasn't at I was at Sandalwood. I had Blanchard, that was a 2-time state finalist. Then I was the head coach at Mandarin, and I had the Paskies, who I think the bigger Paskey wrestled
65. Dwayne wrestled 65.
No. So it would have been probably his like sophomore year or whatever, junior year.
Do you remember who was
Ryan? Go ahead.
I'm trying to think. Who was a kid? It was a stud from Jupiter Christian. They were like brothers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, crap. What was his name?
Shit. When I hear it, I'll know it. And it's bothering me now because I can't remember. He's very popular. Everybody knew who he was. Damn it. Anyway, Dwayne wrestled him at the Palm Beach County tournament and took him into overtime. And Dwayne had only been wrestling for like a friggin' year. He was just a friggin' athlete, man. Just a great athlete.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell is their names? I'll think of it when we go off the air, but
I can't remember either.
Yeah,
you guys were still 3A. Because we were 3A. You guys were 3A.
Yeah, we were 3A.
Right?
Yeah, we were.
Yep.
Do you remember?
Yeah, because my 25er lost in the semis to Baez his senior year, and then was it Solario his junior year, or was it Solario?
Frank Solario from Hialeah.
Yeah.
I remember all those guys, man. So you had to have seen all my sons wrestle.
I did. So after I got done coaching at Mandarin, I fought professionally on and off for 10 years. And then I had a club with like Evan McCall, Kuba Kazuba, a couple of the other Fleming kids, some of the other North Florida kids as well. But it wasn't big. I never advertised it. I just had a group of 6, 7 that were in and out of my gym all the time.
Bryce had a Fleming Island kid in the Bryce wrestled a Fleming kid in the semis his senior year at the state tournament. Paul
Detweiler?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bryce majored him in the semis. Actually, that was Bryce's toughest match. He just walked through it. Not bragging. He had a great year. But Paul, everybody was telling me, this Detweiler kid's going to beat your son. I'm like, no, he's not. They're like, yeah, he is. This kid's tough as hell. I'm like, my kid's tough as hell too, man. I don't know who you're talking about. So I told Bryce, I go, hey, listen, man, I'm getting sick of hearing this. I said, what's going to happen? I'm a little nervous. And I really was, because I watched Detweiler. I scouted him, and he was good, man. I'm like, oh, shit. So I said to Bryce, I go, what? He goes, just do me a favor. Go up there, get your popcorn, and just enjoy the match, because I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And I'm like, all right. And he did. But you know what? That kid Detweiler could be one of the nicest kids I've ever met in my life, and a great athlete. Wound up going to the national finals, right? He was a
D3, right?
D3 for Coast Guard Academy.
Coast Guard. Yep.
I give that kid so much credit, man. And then the next year, it's so funny. All the kids that Bryce beat at that state tournament, the following year, they won state titles. Detweiler won it at one weight class. Todd Perry from South Dade won it at another weight class. And Charles Small from Manatee, another kid he beat, he won it at 170. So all three of the guys that he beat came back to be state champs, which is a credit to him. That's a compliment to him. He didn't have no easy road, man. He beat some tough kids. So
100%.
Yeah, man.
100%.
Last question I wanted to ask you. Damn, we've been on an hour. Last question for you guys. I know you both coach guys and you both coach girls. What do you prefer?
You go, Kurt.
Girls?
Yeah.
Why is it? Less drama or more drama?
It's more fun. I have a lot more fun. Again, I'm also, I'm assistant coach at both teams. I'm coaching both the boys and the girls. So no offense to my boys team. I love them to death. They're great kids.
Right.
They travel just as much with me as the girls did this time. My boys took their time over this time. But the girls, they want to have fun. They want to kick some ass, and they're a little more nose to the grindstone. Just
Do you think that's
personal
because?
experience.
Do you think that's because they feel they have something to prove in this sport?
Yeah, absolutely.
They really don't, though, man. They don't. I wish they would realize that they're here.
No, let them still keep thinking they have something to prove, because they're going to keep training harder and harder, and keep putting that time in, doing double sessions, going seeking out the best competition in the country, and that's going to make people like Jamie and I very happy, because guess what?
Yeah.
We're going to get to I mean, Jamie, you love traveling. Jamie and I got to coach together in Virginia Beach, and we're hanging out.
Nice.
We get done with coaching. We get to sit back, reminisce, talk, tell war stories. Before I met the Cruz family, we were sitting out at that one place in Virginia Beach, braving the weather out on the deck, and we're hanging out with the Cruzes, the Moses family, the Stewarts, and these are all people that, they're on the opposite side of the state that I would never hang out with, and because of Jamie and because of the Stewarts, I now have new friends.
Yeah.
And the girls love it, man. You throw them in a car, you throw them in an airplane, they'll go anywhere. Because they have faith in their coaches. That's one thing that they buy into what we're saying. They buy into what we believe. They buy into what we're telling them. Where you have to convince a guy something. And when girls are like, okay, so if you tell me that's it, okay, I'm doing it.
Right, exactly. The last thing I wanted to bring up, and this is for both of you. So, this year I've seen more transfers than I've ever seen. I think there was over 110 transfers between boys and girls. But there's one girls program that is going to benefit substantially. And of course, who I'm talking about, Flagler Palm Coast. They got the entire Matanzas team, basically, which they're all.
I don't even know to what level they have yet, because there's like 6 or 7 of them. Like, did they stay or did they go?
Right. So. Well, they got Mariah Mills. They got Biblo.
Right.
Who was the other one?
Fries.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tiana.
Fries.
Yeah, 190.
You got Borgman. There. You got Anna and her sister Villar.
The Villar girl.
You've got a tough team there.
And then you
got the state champ, Jocelyn Johnson. You got the 100. Yeah.
That team is probably a top 3 team in the country.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is there any way that they can get beat in Florida? Can anybody?
No.
Right.
They're
loaded from top to bottom. They're loaded.
Right. A lot of seniors though.
And that's true. And you can't even get mad at the coaches. Like these girls. That's yeah. But like you said, they better reload because a lot of those girls are seniors. Mm-hmm. So unless they have
Orlando, the top 3-4 teams in the state graduate so much this year.
I like that.
The landscape next year is going to be a lot different.
Big difference. A
lot different.
Yeah, I thought that Hernando was a lock for a state title this year until those transfers happened. It's hard to pick. It's hard to choose anybody over that team, and that's no offense to any other girls' programs because we got some good ones, but you can't. That's just loaded.
And there's still a way. There's still a path. There's a couple injuries that could happen.
Sure.
God forbid that happens, but Hernando can juggle that lineup too and pull out of there with 2 or 3 state champs and 8 places, right?
Yeah. And
there's still that path. Like Johnson's not at 100 pounds anymore. It's a whole different ballgame at 105, 110.
Right. And here's another thing. Every year
has got probably the toughest weight in the state.
Yeah. Every year you see this happen at the state tournament, and it's going to happen this year. I don't know if it's going to be in girls, but every year you see something crazy happen. You see a state champ get knocked off the first round by a nobody, or, you see a state champ miss his weight. There's so many bracket busters that can happen that can change the whole, tournament. So it'll be curious to see what happens there. I'm sure Hernando is not backing down from nobody. I'm sure they're going to do whatever they can with their lineup. And listen, are they most likely going to win? For sure. Is it a lock? Absolutely not. So I'm curious to see what happens. It's going to be very fun as a spectator watching it. It's going to be worth the price of admission.
Right. I mean, they're both the top 10 teams in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they legitimately are both top 10 teams in the country. And, Flagler may be the best.
Let me ask you this. You put Flagler up against a Wyoming Sem right now. Does Flagler win any matches?
Yeah, they'll win a couple matches, but I mean, you're talking about that's like taking, who's the number one team in Florida right now? South Dade,
Lake Highland Prep. Lake Highland Prep.
Now throw them against Blair or Sem. Okay.
Well, they did friggin' hang with them. They were third in the country at one point. I think they had a close. I think they beat Blair and they lost to Sem.
Let's say public school. Okay, let's take the best public school.
South Dade.
South Dade. Now you throw South Dade, and no disrespect to South Dade. Gino Duran's my boy down there. But you throw them against them, you throw them against Blair, you throw them against some of these big teams. They're going to win matches. I mean, it's not the same. You're talking about a team like Vic Palmasita that builds from the ground up. He finds these kids on the street and he puts them in a wrestling room. What he does in the community, you can't compare. What he does is amazing. It's very comparable to what the Scorpions used to do in the goods in New Jersey. Is just pull kids in, talk street kids, and make them into wrestlers. And they're doing that down in South Dade.
You can't forget Duck.
Right. Yeah, Wyoming Sem girls program is just a whole different level. You look at the Olympic team and the U23 national team, and it's just they're alumni, right? It was crazy. They came down to the Sunshine National Duels. I don't know if you remember the couple years we had that, right?
Yeah.
So they were here and they just, absolutely mopped the floor with everybody.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like South Dade is a homegrown team. They are built from Miami kids. Blair, you're pulling kids in from all over the country.
Of course.
When you do something big with a homegrown team, that's something you're doing something special.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where I give my respect to that. Before we sign off, I do, Jeremy, I just want to thank our coaches that we had, my boys team, and as well as our developmental team, Pete LeClaire, John Lauser, and Amanda Lauser. They were over with my boys team. Our developmental team was Shane McNeil and Henry Geller, and Tito Duran from South Dade gave us a real big hand out there, threw a bunch of girls our way, and then jumped in the corner like a champ, and then when they were done, he would jump in our corner with us.
Because Chino was the man.
Tito's great. We had Coach Adam Payne from Armwood, Coach Jacob Pryor. Jacob's an amazing dude. They helped us out.
Now he's at Centennial.
Coach Fritz has sent the Hernando girls. I really appreciate him sending those girls over and helping us out filling our lineup. And of course, Jake Burt from Lincoln. This is the second year he's sent me girls from Lincoln to fill our lineup, and I really appreciate it, all his help. And then some of the parents we'd like to thank: Ashley Miller, Marlene M. Nick, which is Amaris's mother, Nick Briggs, who is one tough SOB and is always constantly pushing us to get, keep going, you're going to get there. John Bridenstine for 2 years, he's done with us. Greg Knight, Karen and Joe Stewart, and Jason and Veronica. And the only other people I'd like to thank, Gary Lane and Toby Alvarez, for opening up their rooms. Gary Lane's over at Wolfpack, and Toby's the head coach at Boca Ciega. And then the Scorpions, Jimmy Rodriguez, and then of course our brothers over in New Jersey, Lee Rivera, Roberto Morales, and James' brother Carlos fell ill recently. He's the founder of the Scorpions. I just want to shout out to Carlos, and of course to my brother Jamie. He was on your show a little while ago, and he always gives me a shout out. Got to give my shout out to Jamie. Love you, brother.
He did give you a shout out. He made a point to mention you, so that was very nice. Jamie, anybody you want to thank before, or did he thank everybody for you?
He pretty much covered everybody. Sitting there helping.
Such a greedy son of a bitch. He's got to take all the time. He can't even let you talk.
Yeah, and again, Tim Dames, he was
yes.
I sort of bounce back and forth between both teams. You know, for the most part, you know, I was always there with the All-Star team, but when we got done, I was running over to the other team as well. But Tim was there the entire time. He's also my assistant coach over there with Henry.
Yeah.
Great guy. You know, state placer out of Missouri, wrestled in college out there too. And you know, Fallon's dad, he's got another younger son that's going to be a stud too here in a couple of years as well. So again, great person, a great addition for us. Great to have in the corner with me and Kurt as well. So.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. Thank you for putting the RPA Headhunters together and bringing home a national title to the state of Florida. We're opening everybody's eyes. We're not just beaches and palm trees. That's some bullshit if you believe that, because we're about wrestling. Our best can beat anybody's best. It's been proven year after year. We keep doing it and we'll continue to do it. We just have to get the depth. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So, guys, thank you very much for coming on. Jamie, it was great speaking with you. Kurt, as usual, good speaking with you as well.
Jamie,
Please
love you,
get me that picture, man. I want that picture.
I will. I'll find it. I think I might even have it on Facebook somewhere. I'll have to through it on. I'll find it. And I'll
just take a picture of it and send it to me, man. I would love to have that. All right, guys, have a great night, and we will definitely talk to you soon.